statement for her, and any other questions? Coach?
Yeah, well, obviously excited to be sitting in here after a win, and proud of our team for working through the last several days and being able to come out and play a pretty good basketball team and find a way to get a win when it wasn't always easy. So I think we, that's what we needed. Our team needed that in the locker room. They needed to see some success, and hopefully we can build on that.
Let's start with Maria.
Coach, this probably falls in the category of be careful what you show the coach because you're going to expect it. But Jewel, 7 rebounds. I mean, y'all are different at guard spot when she can rebound like that.
Yeah, we need a little bit more production there. Obviously, for us, we can go spells where we didn't score, so you miss a shot, and we've got to be able to come up with an offensive board. Ironically, I thought the play of the game was her put back in the fourth quarter. She got the offensive board. I think they'd cut it to 1. She gets the offensive board and put back. And we talk to our team all the time. You never know when the play that you're about to make is going to be the most important play of the game. It could be in the first quarter, it could be in the third quarter, it could be the fourth, and I felt like it was that play, and it was an offensive board and put back.
Go next to Cora, followed by Casey, Jack, and Kate.
Kind of staying on the trend of Jewel, she's had kind of a shooting slump, hasn't played as well as she opened the season. Just what do you feel like has helped her get back on track, and especially in the scoring end?
Yeah, she's actually shot the ball pretty well in practice. She started out the game today 0 for 5, and I thought our pace, getting our pace up there probably helps her. She just started 0 for 5, but she got one to finally go in the second half, and you could just see the relief on her face when she made it. And that's what she needed to see, and she needed to be reminded that yes, she can shoot, and yes, she can shoot in a game, not just practice. So I think also for her, sometimes you need to find easy plays, and maybe that's getting a stop on the defensive end, maybe it's getting a defensive board or an offensive board. Sometimes you just need to make a play to give yourself some confidence for that shot to go in.
What have you liked about Caroline Strickland being in the starting spot the last 2 games?
Well, obviously she's been productive, and Caroline works so hard. She's one of the more fearless players on our team. I think she gives us versatility in that you've got to guard her from the 3-point line, but she can score in the paint. She posts up very strong. She's really hard to guard down there when she's posting up, and I think when you have that presence, it opens a lot of things up for everybody else. So I love that she's being aggressive and playing with confidence.
Coach, 22 turnovers, that's continued to be an issue going back to the start of the season. What are you working on in practice to rectify that issue?
Well, I'll tell you, we had 11 in the last game, and that didn't work. Right? So we have to find the balance. We're not going to be a 0 turnover. The problem with the turnovers tonight, you're right, 22 is too many. But the unforced turnovers were a problem tonight. I'm going to live with turnovers with us being aggressive. So we had a handful of those, but the problem specifically about the turnovers tonight, were the controllable turnovers. The miss execution on an easy pass. Those are the ones that we have to be able to clean up, and honestly, that probably dips this one down to probably about 11. To be honest with you.
You're able to out-rebound Eastern Kentucky tonight, but they scored more second chance points than you were able to get. What went wrong in the offensive glass there?
Well, I think at times, obviously now I have to go back and watch it, but I think at times it's how you get those boards. Are you getting it and where you're at, being able to power it back up? We got a few and kicked them back out, and obviously didn't capitalize on those. So I think for us, that's one of those moments you got to reward yourself. you worked hard to get it. Let's now convert. It's like bursting the other team's balloon. You get an offensive board and score. So, we still gave up, in my opinion, too many offensive boards. This team averages 16 offensive boards per game, and obviously we held them under that number. So that's a positive. I still think there were a couple we could have gotten back.
Let's go next to Paige, Maria, and then Casey.
How much of a turning point do you think this game can be, especially when you consider how EKU did get it to a 1-point game, but the team didn't spiral and extended it to another 10-point, 11-point lead?
Yeah, I think the way we won should be a really good lesson for our team, good experience for our team. You hope that they can breathe a little bit now, take a little bit of pressure off of them, because I know they were feeling it. They want to win. They want to do well. I think they responded in practice the last 2 days. I've been really proud of them and how they responded. And I'm just so happy for them that they got to see it pay off. And now we want to try to build on that and try to take some momentum into this break.
Maria.
Tamari obviously got her 300th career block last game and then 3 in this game. She's one of only 9 players in the SEC to hit 300. Just what is that milestone? I mean, just how big is that milestone?
She's a difference maker. And I know today she didn't get as many minutes, and it was not her fault. I mean, obviously we had Caroline playing well. I thought Jillian played really well. Matchups lended to not being able to play them a lot together. But Tamari can change the game defensively, and that's a big number. That's a big number. And just when you put it in perspective, there you realize how elite she is as a shot blocker.
Casey.
Is there anything the team can do next game moving forward to avoid that scoring drought that you guys had out of the gate, maybe settling in a little bit more? How can they achieve that?
Yeah, I thought we got some good shots. We just didn't knock them down. I thought we didn't settle in the paint and score. It took us a while to get to that point. So that's just maturity, being able to settle and score. We'll go back and watch all the outside shots. We did not shoot it well in that first half from the perimeter. We emphasized getting the ball inside, and I think when we were looking in the paint, we actually found our rhythm on the perimeter a little bit more. So I think our players, that to me was just telling me how focused they were on our game plan. Yeah, they passed up some shots there in the second half to look inside, knowing that's what we were trying to do. And I think because of it, they probably took a few better shots and we hit a few more.
Ryan, Cora, and then Paige.
You have 2 pretty sizable gaps on either side of this Wofford game. How important are those reads for you to get a look at yourself and what you want to see out of the team?
Yeah, I think, this could be extremely valuable time if we are able to progress through practice. Obviously, our players are in finals, so they're going to get some days to just focus on their finals, but we'll work around their final exam times, find some times that practice makes sense, and we'll really get to dive into us. It's nice to be able to focus on us and not an opponent for a little while. We'll get to put some things in that we've been wanting to put in. We've just not had the time because of games. We'll get to put some wrinkles in, and then hopefully get to shore up some things that we need to be a little bit better at. And that's on both ends of the court and still with our rebounding as well.
I think you just touched on it a minute ago, but I know Jasmine was talking about it with settling in on offense to get those points. Do you think those missed shots are because they're rushing the shot too much and you guys just need to settle in a bit more? Or kind of what would you say is the biggest contributing factor?
Yeah, there were a few that in the paint that thought we needed to gather ourselves a little bit better, take our time and score. Sometimes when you feel like you're open, you feel like you have to rush it, but I didn't think we needed to rush. I still think we've got to continue to work on our offensive rhythm. I think when we take shots in rhythm, we are a higher percentage team. There was a stretch I do not remember if it was the first or second quarter, but we pushed the ball down, we had an attack, we kicked a test, rhythm 3, she made it. The next 2 possessions, we got the ball inside and scored. So it was 3 buckets in a row, and it was a really good flow. It was a really, really good rhythm. So those will be lessons that we'll also try to learn and watch through film. Watch the good moments. We don't just watch the bad clips, we watch the good clips as well.
Cora and Maria.
This one was super important just to get back on track, but just for you, where do you want to see the biggest emphasis going forward to make sure you're building off this win and not sliding backwards?
Yeah, it's hard for me to pick one thing. Defensively, I think there's still a few things that we can be a little more disciplined with, and that's in terms of our system. Offensively, taking care of the ball, making better decisions at times, but also finding that balance and rhythm within our offense. Rebounding will be an everyday work for us. We've not seen a lot of zone defense this year. Tonight we saw the most zone that we have seen. We need to work through that a little bit. There's some things we need to be better at in the zone offense. We've got a few things defensively we need to put in that we haven't had time to hit yet. So in terms of an emphasis, it's hard to just pick one because there are several things we want to get better at.
Obviously, Jillian came off concussion protocol. Now Avery Strickland goes into it. Rakia Jackson, Samantha has put up a couple of TikTok clips that get thousands of views of her just doing agility or taking a shot. Is a healthy team atop your Christmas list right now, just to see this team at full strength?
Wouldn't that be great? Yeah. Coaches are better when they have all their players. Teams are better when you have everybody available. There's no doubt about it. So we'll continue to work through what we've got. Obviously, Rakia is continuing to progress, so we're hoping this will be a good week for her and see what happens with her in the next few days. And Avery as well. It's just I hate it for her. She just gets back and tries to get back in the swing of things, and then she has to go back into the concussion protocol.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.